Welcome back, gamers. So, I did a top 10 one-checks video a while back, and I asked if you guys would be interested in my favorite two-check cards, and I actually got some good feedback on it. So, because there are way more two-checks than one-checks, obviously this video was a little bit more difficult to get my lineup right, and I'm pretty sure on a day-to-day basis, the arrangement of these top 10 two-checks could change. But this is what I'm feeling today, especially with the number 2 and number 1 slots. Those two are kind of interchangeable. One's really high up there for personal reasons. The other is just because I think it's an amazing card. So, two checks, obviously, are very dangerous. Not as dangerous as ones, but two-check attacks are very tricky to play because they have to be pretty powerful. Not quite as powerful as one checks with some of their game warping abilities, but you want them to do a lot for you. To risk not having the standard 3-check, risking your early builds. So these are not necessarily the most powerful. I'm sure you could make arguments for different 2 difficulty attacks that aren't on this list, but this is definitely my favorite ones since I started playing the game. I have actually run every one of these cards, at least in 2 or 3 different decks. So yeah, to get started, my number 10 slot is Hellgate Executioner. This is a 5/2, 5 high for 6 with no block. This is from Red Horizon Blood Omen. This is from the Natalie card kit. That's Natalie there with the black wings and the scythe. It's a Chaos, Earth, and Evil card. It's got Powerful 4, which is amazing, and Deadlock Stun 4. So if your rival has at least 11 foundations, this commits 4 of them. And then Powerful 4 means you can spend any number of momentum, and for each momentum you spend, it gets plus 4 damage. And as an enhance, for the rest of this combat phase, so if this is your opener, for the rest of the entire turn, anytime your rival wants to play a responsibility, they have to pay an additional 4 health as an additional cost. If they want to breaker you, if they want to use any of the responses like Incredible Display to pick up a block, if they want to respond with Filled with Doubt, every time they play a response during the rest of this entire turn, they have to lose an additional 4 health as an additional cost. So starting your turn with this card is huge. This means a lot of what your rival's trying to cancel, if they can't cancel this enhance, is you're just going to be able to run away with so much because of this card. So Hellgate Executioner definitely made it onto this list. It was one of the first ultras I actually used as a kill condition. One of the other ones will be farther up on this list, and it is another Blood Omen card. So we'll look forward to that. My number 9 slot goes to Plow Through Enemies. This is a pretty new one. It's a 5/2, 5 mid for 5, 2 mid block, Fury and Slam. It's from Attack on Titan Battle for Humanity. And as a response, after this attack receives a damage bonus, it gets plus 2 speed. So every time you give, like, I'm going to give it plus 1 damage, it also gets plus 2 speed. My thought for one checks is, in order to use them, they have to offer some sort of kind of game warping ability that really make you want to use this card. You have to get a lot of value out of it. Two checks for me are kind of build-arounds. A lot of times, these are the cards you're going to build your deck or your core deck around, and this is like the card you want to use. So you're kind of building your deck around that. Not so much with a card like Hellgate Executioner, because this can just fit any deck on these symbols and be a very good opener. But Plow Through Enemies is definitely something you want to have a lot of spammable damage, so you can stack up a lot of damage and a lot of speed on this card. And this is usually going to come in as your kill condition. So this is a really strong one. I really like it. It's got Life Attuned, so any life character can play it in and out of Retro. I just think it's a really cool card. I really, really like it. Next up, we have another Attack on Titan Battle for Humanity card, Farewell Between Friends. This is a 5/2, 4 mid for 6, 2 mid block, no keywords. It's Order Attuned, so any Order character can play it. As a blitz, your rival reveals their hand. Choose one card revealed this way. Your rival cannot play copies of the chosen card until the start of your next turn. So I'm going to look at your hand and pick a card. you're not allowed to block with it. If it's in action, you're not allowed to play it. And on your turn, you're not allowed to play any card that has that card's name. So if you draw more copies of it, they're dead in your hand. This is a very powerful control piece that I actually did build an Armin 3 deck around with this and Psychic Spirit Glass. Basically, I would look at your hand and tell you, there's all these cards that you have that you're not allowed to play. And then I would just run over you with +5 damage on all of my attacks with the Armin Colossus Titan finale. It's a very powerful card. Just being able to tell your rival you're not allowed to block with this card is strong, but the fact that they can't even play those cards on their next turn. God forbid they get stuck with 2 copies of a card in their hand, and neither of them can be played. Very, very strong card. Very, very powerful. Just kind of tell your rival no. And there's another strong tell your rival no card on this list that I can't wait to get to. So next up, we have Black Magic Hex Curse. This card is wild. It is a 6/2, 4 low for 8, 2 mid block, charge, fury, and slam. It's from Mortal Kombat X. It's the Quan Chi ultra rare. It's got death, evil, and life. As an enhance, if there's a character card in your discard pile or removed from game pile that shares a name with your opponent's starting character, this attack is unblockable. Just automatic 8 damage if any character that's in my discard pile or removed from game pile shares a name with your starting character. Now, Quan Chi wanted to remove characters from his discard pile back before... when did we stop using characters, giving them stats? Was it... I think it was the 2024 with the Challenger Series for Spike and Vash, I believe. I believe those were the first characters to not have difficulty and control, so you can't put them in your deck. But you used to, especially in Retro, put different characters into your deck as long as they shared symbol. And they were 6 checks, they were 0 mid blocks. So that was kind of cool. It was a buddy block, but Quan Chi wanted to remove characters from their discard pile to copy their abilities, kind of like what Toga 4 does. So absolutely wild. But I played this card in... what is his name? I'm gonna have to go in here. It's Mortal Kombat X character. Ermac. So I actually played him in this card in Ermac because it says response, sacrifice a foundation after you check a character card. Your rival destroys one of their non-character cards. Pretty strong. And enhance, discard a character card, draw a card. This attack gets +2 damage for each resource symbol that the discarded card shares with your rival's starting character. Now, in the old days, you could put cards in your deck that did not share symbols with your character. You absolutely could. So what I did with Ermac is I gambled out what I thought the 15 best characters in any given meta were, or the 10 characters that were the best in any given meta, and I would put 1 copy of each in my main board and 1 copy of each in my sideboard, so I could side characters in and out, so that if there was a copy of my rival's character in my deck, I could play Black Magic Hex Curse, and this attack would automatically become unblockable. Automatic 8 damage. Plus, as a response, I can make a check of 6, which works with Ermac's response, sacrifice a foundation. After I check a character card, my rival destroys one of their non-character cards. And response, after my rival plays an enhance ability during this attack, they sacrifice one of their foundations. So if I check that 6 and I check a character, not only are you sacrificing a foundation, but I can sacrifice one of my own foundations to make you sacrifice a second foundation. And the deck played almost exclusively with characters and 6-check foundations, and I was just able to machine gun my rival's stage out using this as a starter. And even if this attack wasn't unblockable due to its ability with the characters, I was still able to say, hey, this is just really hard for you to deal with, and if you don't want to lose your entire stage, you're not allowed to interact with it. So, very powerful card here. I think it works better with Ermac than Quan Chi, but Ermac had his own 6-check, his own ultra rare, and Quan Chi got this one. So next up we have Ice Dragon Seiryu. This card was bonkers. It's a 5/2, 4 high for 5, 1 high block. It's got all chaos and water as its symbols, and its keywords are punch, ranged, and stun 3. Stun 3 says my rival has to commit 3 foundations. As an enhance, I spend 1 momentum. My next check gets +1 for each of my rival's committed foundations. So if I stun 3 and I have a momentum, my next check gets a minimum of +3. And then enhance, freeze all foundations committed due to this attack's stun ability. So if you were able to increase the stun rating of this card to stun 5, stun 6, you could freeze your rival's entire board. And that's absolutely wild. So you look at characters like, and it's a punch, so characters like Paul Phoenix would have loved this card on the all symbol. Characters like, I believe Roy had chaos. Roy. No, he didn't. So he doesn't get this one. He gets it on his promo character, but not otherwise. But I used ways to give this attack bigger stun ratings, and I could just freeze my rival's board out. And let me tell you, if your rival builds like 4 on their first turn and you went first, you play this on your second turn and say, hey, cool, stun 3, freeze them, you could keep your rival farther back and having to build more, and you can just run away with the game. And it's got that 1 high block, which is really nice. It's got 2 really good keywords, punch and ranged, that have a lot of support throughout the game. This is from the original Yu Yu Hakusho set, not the Dark Tournament, but the first one, the OG, when they were going up against the Saint Beasts. And this card put in a lot of work for me. Next up, we have Bleak Concerto Finale. This is a Tira Ultra Rare from the second Soul Calibur 6 set, which was... I'm reading. Soul Calibur Libra of Souls. It's a 5/2, 4 mid for 6, 1 mid block, Fury weapon, and it combos with a Fury. So in order to use that combo enhance down there, this card has to be immediately after a Fury card in your card pool. It's got Death, Water, Evil, and Water. As an enhance, your rival spends their entire momentum and loses 1 health for each momentum spent this way. As a combo enhance, your rival adds the top 2 cards of their deck to their momentum, and this attack gets +X speed and +X damage. X equals your opponent's momentum. So if my rival has 3 momentum and I use this combo enhance, this attack gets +5/+5, and then I can force them to spend that momentum and burn them for 5 health, which is really rough. That is a lot of damage to be dealt here, and you know, depending on how much momentum they had, this attack could then very well be unblockable. I remember I did play this in Tira, but I also played it in... oh, is it with a Y? It is with a Y. I also played it in Striker. So this was the Mortal Kombat DLC character, one of them. And I played it on death. And he says, response, after your rival spends 1 or more momentum, they lose 1 health for each momentum spent, doubling up on the burn for Bleak Concerto. So if I put 2 of your cards to momentum to give you 5, and then this gets +5/+5, it's a 9 mid 11, and then I spend your entire momentum to burn you for 5, Striker's also going to burn you for 5. So that's 10 damage automatically that this card can put up on the board. And then he has a commit that after you play a ranged, your rival spends a momentum for each ranged attack in your card pool. Or enhanced commit, your opponent spends 1 momentum for each attack in your card pool. Add a ranged card from your card pool to your hand. But at that point, this response is not tenacious, so I never worried about that. So I never worried about ranged attacks. I worried about, can I blow you up with a Bleak Concerto after stuffing a whole bunch of cards into your momentum. So really, really funny card here. I absolutely adore it. And I love Tira. I think Tira is one of my favorite Soul Calibur characters from the game, so I always tried to make her work. Next up, we've got Tape Swing. This is fun. This is from the My Hero Academia base set. It's a 5/2, 4 mid for 6, 1 high block with charged and ranged. It's got Order, Void, and Water as its symbols. As a static ability, it cannot be completely blocked. So your rival's not allowed to try to play a mid block to this mid zone attack, so they're always going to have to take half damage. As a response, after the zone of this attack is changed, it gets +2 damage. Pretty good. And then enhance, spend 1 momentum, change the zone of this attack. This enhance is playable any number of times this enhance step. So you can just keep changing the zone, keep racking up all the damage on here, and then your rival has to minimum take half damage. It's a throw that is not a throw. And let me tell you something. I want to play Aino from the Guilty Gear set in retro with Tape Swing, because she says she can just freely change the zone if my rival doesn't let me seal something, and she doubles up on the damage each time Tape Swing's zone would be changed. So +4 damage each time I change the zone is absolutely ridiculous. So look forward to that. That's going to be a fun retro video to do with Aino here in the near future. Next up, we have Pulse Flare. So this is the other Blood Omen Ultra 2-check that I did build around. It's a 5/2, 5 mid for 5, EX2, Powerful 2, and Ranged. And it's got Evil, Good, and Fire as its symbols. So EX2 means you can spend any number of momentum, and for each momentum spent to play this ability, you get +2 speed. Powerful says you can spend as many momentum for this ability as you want, and for each momentum spent, you get +2 damage. But as a static, this card says you may sacrifice face-down foundations in addition to spending momentum to pay the cost of this attack's keyword abilities. So let's say I've got 12 face-down foundations. I can spend 6 for EX and 6 for Powerful and get 12 damage and 12 speed on top of if I had any momentum to spend for these abilities. This is an absolute bomb of a card, and the character I actually played it with was Elena. Not Yelena, Elena. So as a static, she says, after your turn begins, you may build the top card of your deck face down. This is a static. It does not activate. So this means even if she goes first, when her turn begins, she gets to build a foundation. She starts with a foundation. And then she can remove the top card of her deck to get +X speed. X equals the printed block modifier of the removed card. And your attack gets +1 damage for each resource symbol it shares with your character. So she automatically gives Pulse Flare +2 because they share good and fire. But because she keeps building a foundation every turn, every one of her turns, that means I can just throw this as a huge bomb going into the end game of a turn and just say, hey, I forced you to block some really strong cards. I'm going to end on a Pulse Flare. I'm going to dump all of my momentum, going to dump all of my foundations into this card, and just full send it for your life total. It is a huge bomb card, and it definitely deserves the 2-check and the no block. But now we're getting into the top 2, and these two are kind of interchangeable for me, because the one I put in the second slot was actually in the first slot for the longest time until I started actually ranking where I wanted to put these for the video. And I kind of had to make the tough choice of, as much as I love my number 2 card here, it has to be number 2 just because I have tried to build more decks with the number 1 card. So my number 2 card is Everywhere. It's a 5/2, 4 high for 4, 3 high block, ranged, safe, and it combos with an attack. So safe is a static keyword ability that says your rival is not allowed to play a reversal after they block this attack, which is kind of good. There's a lot of strong reversal cards out there. And to combo with an attack, this card has to be played after an attack card, which as a 5 diff makes it kind of tough. But the combo enhance is, this attack gets +3 damage. Your rival cannot play any more enhance abilities during this attack. So if that combo enhance is your first enhance, this is a 4 high 7, and your rival doesn't get to interact with it at all unless it's a responsibility, which is crazy. And then if you've played a combo ability this enhanced step, this attack gets +3 speed. So it becomes a 7 high 7 that your rival doesn't get to interact with. And you just get to put all of your enhances, all of everything. They can't do any speed reduction, damage reduction, health gain, any of that. This just becomes a game-ending card. It's a lot like the Wingnut Sabotage, where your rival's not allowed to play enhance abilities during it. This is very much the same. And you can, since they both have Void, because Wingnut Sabotage is Void attuned, you could play a very powerful Void control attack lineup with Everywhere and Wingnut Sabotage, especially in Kadath, the character that Everywhere is used in. So let's take a look at Kadath. Kadath Alright, I don't remember how to spell this dude's name. So we're just going to look at World of Endine's characters. Oh, there's an H. So Kadath. This was actually, aside from Pharaoh Man, who was the first character I ever built, this was the first character I ever built after I knew what I was doing. Because with Pharaoh Man, teaching myself how to play the game, I didn't know what I was doing. Kadath was the first character that I knew what I was doing and had a game plan for. I played him as a death debuild character because we have that response once per turn, sacrifice a foundation. After your rival plays a foundation, discard it. So if your rival plays a foundation during their turn like they're trying to build, when they go to build one, you can say, no, I'm gonna sack a foundation. You clear that card from your card pool. You don't get to build it. And then we have an enhance once per turn. This attack gets +3 damage. No more enhance abilities get to be played during this enhance step. So imagine Wingnut Sabotage into Everywhere, into a strong Void attack, and your first enhance is +3 damage, no more enhances. Your rival doesn't get to do anything. He is very much a solitaire style character, and he is a strong control style character because +3 damage, no more enhances. This enhanced step can be used on your rival's turn and say, yeah, you get +3 damage, but I'm just going to block it. So you don't get to do any more setup on this card. So very, very good. A very tactical character. And on both Void and Death, I had a lot of ways to destroy my rival's stage. So I just kept holding you down, and I just made sure that you couldn't play anything during my attacks. And he's a very strong control character. I love Kadath. So yeah, he's super cool, and Everywhere is his, I guess, rare attack, his ace attack. Indines was weird because it was kind of like the Challenger series we have now, where you get a character and a deck with 2 characters, and the deck can work with either character. That's kind of what the entire Indine set was. It was 4 different decks, and each deck came with 2 characters, and then there was like a couple of extra cards that you got in the as bonus, and there was like a 15 card bonus that you got pieces from. So really good. I Everywhere holds a special place in my heart as an attack that my locals absolutely hated because I played it for so long. But all in all, it didn't get as much play from me as our number 1 card, Ovipositor Charger. This is another Mortal Kombat attack. It's a 4/2, 2 mid for 4 with a 1 mid block, charge, deadlock reversal, EX2, and Fury. So if your rival has at least 11 foundations, you're allowed to play this card as a reversal, which means after you block an attack, you may reveal this card in your hand and attempt to play it as an attack on your rival's turn. So that's already pretty strong. 2 mid for 4 doesn't seem too good, so why does it have a 2 check? Well, as a response in your card pool, you can discard 1 card after you make a check to play an attack. That check gets +1. That's kind of alright. But the good part is the enhance for the rest of this turn, you may play copies of Ovipositor Charger from your discard pile as though they were in your hand. Heaven forbid you get to play this as a reversal, because that means you can block with all of the Ovipositor Chargers +1 mid blocks from your discard pile. But on your turn, I don't know if I said this has all chaos and life. So I play Ovipositor Charger. And I say, for the rest of this turn, I can play copies of Ovipositor Charger from my discard pile. If I have 3 in my discard pile, that's 3 extra attacks I get to play without playing any cards from my hand. And if I'm short by like 1 on my check, I can discard a card from my hand to get +1. But the cool thing is, if I then clear those cards from my card pool, like using a card called... Let's reset this. Using a card called Covert Intent. This ignores progressive difficulty, so it's always going to be played on a 5. It's got Infinity as its symbol. I can response spend a momentum after an attack resolves. Both players clear their card pools, and then draw cards equal to the number of cards they cleared. So let's say I play an Ovipositor Charger. I have 3 in the discard. I have 1 momentum. I play the 3 from my discard pile. So on a 4, on a 5, on a 6, on a 7. Maybe I discard some cards to boost my checks. And then after the 4th one resolves, I play Covert Intent on a 5. I spend a momentum. I clear all 5 cards from my card pool. I draw 5 cards. And then I can still play all 4 Ovipositor Chargers from my discard pile before even using any cards in my hand. This card is absolutely wild as a string deck, and it's just so nuts. Me and one of my locals have both played this in Goro from Mortal Kombat, who can mill 4 to give +4 damage, and he can, sculpt his hand so he can always pick up an Ovipositor, play Ovipositor, mill 4 to give it 4 damage, so it's a 2 mid 8, and then just play all of the ones from the discard pile, and then play something like Covert Intent to clear them, play them all again, and just wipe your rival out that way. Eventually, they're going to run out of mid blocks, and they're just going to have to take all of this. But this is such a strong string card and such a cool build around that I've built several decks with several different retro characters dedicated strictly around to how many times can I play Ovipositor Charger in a turn before I have to, without even worrying about what other cards I have in my hand. It's wild. It is a really wild card, and I'm sad that it didn't see more play, because I know I played it in like Taki, I played it in Goro, I did play it in Devora, who's the character on the card, but I love it. I love being able to just see how many attacks I can play in a turn. I believe I played this in Nezu in Retro, on the Chaos symbol or the All symbol, in part of a how many cards can I play in a turn? Because I believe there was an all death action. Price for peace. Form, discard your hand, draw up to your printed hand size. If it is not your first form at the start of the end phase, lose the game. So I play Price for Peace after I've lost my hand, or maybe I played an Ovipositor, used the effect, and I had like 2 more in hand, so I could play Price for Peace. You could just keep discarding your hand to draw up to your hand size, even if you had less cards in your hand than your hand size. And then you play cards like Covert Intent and stuff to keep clearing all the cards from your card pool, so you don't have to worry about progressive difficulty, and then keep playing all the Ovipositors to just wear your rival down and win that way. And it was a very, very crazy deck of just how many of this card can I play in a single turn, and can I beat you in one single turn from whatever your full health is. And yeah, Nezu can do it on both the all and chaos symbols, but I mainly chose all for the actions I was given access to. But that's it. That is going to be my top 10 2-checks, and with Guilty Gear, I don't think we saw any 2-checks. Let's take a quick look at that. Guilty Gear 2 Control. Okay, we saw Deus Ex Machina and Potemkin Buster. Honestly, I haven't played with either of these two yet, but I do have a deck for each of them that I'm looking very much forward to trying to play. Potemkin Buster in Mount Lady 2 to try to make it unblockable. And I'm not going to talk about my Deus Ex Machina character yet, because I might be doing a video on characters that I think are getting a major buff, or that I am excited to play once Guilty Gear drops. So I might save that as some spicy secret tech. But I will say it's a character that no one pays any mind to. So I don't know where they would rank on the list, but I am excited with the new year coming up to see what new 2 and hopefully 1 checks we would get to see. I love those risky, high risk, high reward type of cards. And I don't know, it just tickles the brain in the right way for me. So let me know in the comments below what your favorite 2-checks are, or do you think that some of the ones that I put up on this list are really neat? And of course, I will be trying to do more retro content. I am working on the Retro Fit series, and I do want to do some of my favorite retro characters, some deck profiles for those. So more retro content coming, and I will see you guys in the next one. Take care, guys.